In this video, we'll be talking about Defenders of the Faith by Judas Priest. The album was released on January 13th, 1984. It is celebrating its 40th anniversary. I will answer questions such as, what is the significance of the classic lineup in the 80s and how have they contributed to the album's impact? Why did Eat Me Alive spark controversy and find itself on Tipper Gore's Filthy 15 list? How did the band respond to the controversy? In what ways did Defender of the Faith influence glam metal in the 80s? And a lot more. The album has 10 tracks. It's about 40 minutes long. There are 4 songs on side A and 6 on side B. The album was produced by Tom Alam, released on Columbia Records. Defenders of the Faith was recorded at Ibiza Sound Studios in Ibiza, Spain, and mixed at the Bayshore Recording Studios in Coconut Grove, Miami, Florida. This album has a sound similar to Screaming for Vengeance from 1982, but I also heard some songs that sounded like a style they would use for the next album, which would be Turbo in 1986. I'll talk about those later. There was one song that sparked the controversy. I will get to that as well. Most of the songs have a traditional heavy metal sound. I would say there's one song that had a sound reminiscent of Turbo, one slower track, one power ballad. So the album has a consistent sound with a few slight changes of pace. The album has the classic lineup from the 80s. Many of these musicians are still in the band. We have Rob Halford. He sounds in top form on this album. Many of the songs have him singing high screams and others have him singing in the low range. Then there's the guitar duo of K.K. Downing and Glenn Tipton. Their harmonies are on point on this album, and you can hear the twin guitar attack throughout this album. You probably know already K.K. Downing is in a different band called K.K.'s Priest. Glenn Tipton is still in Judas Priest. On bass we have Ian Hill. He's still in the band. He's actually the longest running member of the band and the only original member dating back to 1969. His bass playing plays a major role on the album. It can be heard on tracks such as Love Bites and Night Comes Down. Then the album has Dave Holland on drums, who many believe is one of their best drummers. He left the band in 1989 and he died in 2018. There was one song on the album that was controversial, and that was Eat Me Alive. Eat Me Alive was the controversial track that included on Tipper Gore's Filthy 15 list because the lyrics were about giving oral sex at gunpoint. I asked the AI generator to create a picture of me for this, but it refused to do it. So here are some emojis right here describing the lyrics. Tipper Gore got her panties in a bunch when she heard the lyrics, and it mentioned lines like rod of steel and groan in the pleasure zone, and said it was meant to be satire. They responded with another song on the album, which was called Parental Guidance. It's classic heavy metal with some cool guitar rhythms and blazing solos. So a lot of these songs influenced glam metal in the 80s. As you listen to the album, you're going to notice there were a few songs that seem to have been emulated by bands, mostly in the later half of the 80s. So these songs are the following. Rock Hard Ride Free is a cool song. Has more of an 80s glam metal sound with harmonized leads in the intro and a slower pace. The verse section has some typical power chords in the pre-chorus and has some galloping rhythms. The chorus is very catchy and overall a very good heavy metal song. The song has some melodic leads in the solo and it's just a very good song. Night Comes Down is a power ballad. This song is not very well known. It has a sound which would be copied later by bands in the 80s. I thought it was a pretty good song. Another song where the bass guitar can be heard very well. It's just very catchy. Now, let's talk about a few songs which I consider the classics. These are well known, live staples, popular tracks, and such. Freewheel Burning is the opening track. It's a fast-paced metal song. Rob Halford sings in a higher register in the chorus. The drumming is fast-paced, and the song has some cool twin guitar harmonies. The Sentinel, that's one of my favorites because it has a classic intro when it goes into the main song. Kind of sounds like a traditional Judas Priest song. Rob Halford has some of the best vocals on the song with some high-pitched screams. The song is a cool breakdown where they shift gears, and the guitar solo is awesome with some guitar shredding. Love Bites is one of my favorites. The song was on one of those metal compilations albums that I had back in the 80s. Really cool song. It's a slower song. It's still heavy. The song has a really cool bass guitar sound. It can be heard in the verses, and the chorus has Halford singing in unison with the guitar riffs. The song has a cool chugging sound as well, and some of the riffs are foreshadowing the style they would be using on Turbo later on. Some Heads Are Gonna Roll is one of the most popular songs of the album. It's a very catchy song. It's very accessible if you're a new metalhead. The song has some classic heavy metal guitar riffs. I've always liked the song. Some cool guitar harmonies, and the guitar solo is very melodic. Now, there are a few underrated gems on this album. They don't get talked about that much. We have the song Jawbreaker. It has a classic heavy metal sound. There's this galloping sound in the rhythms. The song's energetic, has some awesome heavy metal guitar riffs, and supposedly it's about a monster getting ready to attack. I think if you look at the lyrics, it could also be like sexual. Then there's Heavy Duty. It's an underrated song and has a heavy guitar riff. Slower track, but it hits hard, and the guitar sound is very memorable. The drumming is simple. It works within the context of the song. There's some great bass guitar playing. Rob Halford lets out some screams, and there are crowd noises in the mix. And this goes into the next song, Defenders of the Faith, which is pretty much part 2 of the same song. Then the next song is a bonus track. It was included on the 2001 CD edition. It was recorded during the Turbo sessions. I felt it's worth a mention. It's called Turn On Your Light. The last song has an acoustic guitar intro. It's a ballad. Not very well known, but I thought it was really good. I think it probably could have been a radio hit. Has that soft arrangement with orchestration in the background, and the second half of the song has the electric guitars. Just another song, sounds a lot like the power ballads of the 80s. Pretty unique song in the Judas Priest discography. So thank you for joining me on this deep dive to their classic album. We're celebrating its 40th anniversary, and this is a masterpiece, and it has left its mark on the world of heavy metal. So now it's your turn. Share your thoughts. Drop a comment below. What's your favorite track? Are there any hidden gems or any of these classics? What do you like about the album? And if you want more content, hit that subscribe button, ring the notification bell. Here's some more Judas Priest content. I have a bunch of it. And just stay tuned for more rock and metal reviews. And I'll see you in the next time.